You are the best thing in my life. Sunny days and starry nights that never end. You make me laugh, you make me cry, you make me come alive. I'll come alive again. I'll come alive. I'll come alive again.
Well, welcome to my show, ladies. I am so excited to have all of you on my show today, this week. We are calling this show Hindsight is 2020. And we are going to be kind of going over our experiences as entrepreneurs, as independent business owners, and as just human beings living during a global pandemic in the year of 2020 and all of the things that it's kind of thrown in our direction, and how we can help other people stay inspired and stay creative in creating the process of manifesting where they're going into 2021. So I'd like to welcome to my show some of my gal pals, some new friends, some old friends. I'll start with my oldest friend here right now, which is Deanne Gustafson. And there's nobody that's old. I think we're all the same age, honestly. But Deanne Gustafson here, I also know her professionally as Deanne Goodman for her as a journalist. And she has a lot of history as a news reporter and journalist and podcaster. She's the co-founder of Kombucha On Tap. So she's really into health and wellness and creating that inspiration for people. And she's also very passionate about dogs. She loves dogs and she loves rescue dogs. So welcome to the show, Deanne.
Thank you. Great to be here.
We're so glad to have you. And we've been friends throwing ideas back and forth for years. Belle, Benziane, I met you this year on the Quarantine Network. You had me as one of your guests on Belle and Lydell, Best Friends, and we had a great chat about all kinds of things. And you and I are just getting to know each other as friends. But I really love our conversation that we've had and getting to know you.
I do too. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. And Keasha Lee Ince, am I saying it right? The last name?
Did it perfect.
Okay. Keasha Lee and I also met online. We have a lot of mutual friends. I think it might have been through the Quarantine Network or something, but I met you on Facebook and you did come over and we had a little safely distanced chat and hang out. And just, I love what you put out every day. You're trying to put out messages for people to be positive and inspired and to really create their own businesses and to find that empowerment. So I really love that about you. And welcome to this little Hindsight is 2020, ladies. How many of you are excited about 2021?
I
am.
Okay. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm also excited. I just have no idea what it's going to bring us. Like, as far as me as a singer, like the entertainment industry has been kind of gutted. So I have to be kind of more open-minded as to what direction I'm going to be going in from where I'm at. But I hear opportunities on the horizon. And let's start with you, Keasha. What has your business felt like going in 2020? Like, how has this impacted you professionally?
It's been an amazing year for my business this year in 2020. I have considered taking pause, and I did take a quick pause. Things picked up in April and May, and then an opportunity came my way to join a team full time. And it took me a bit to think about that. And I said, okay, well, the universe and everything brought me back to my business. And so with that newfound wisdom from that short experience, I decided on what was a non-option for me. Right. So it's really important to be clear as like, what's a non-negotiable, what's a non-option. And for me, I had been playing a little too long with one little toe, even if it was a pinky toe, into the realm of maybe I'll go and work full time if it's the right fit, if it's a fantastic opportunity. And now that has been removed because I know that what I'm doing is really needed. And the way that I do it is unique, obviously, just like each of us, right? We're all powerful, unique expressions of creativity. And so I am here to help others tap into that special thing and to be able to convey it. So it's been great ever since that. Like this month of December, right now we're having this conversation on December 29th. I have attracted like 8 new clients into my business in the month of December.
That's
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it just keeps going.
You know what I find is I have often found that when you are in your zone, like you're living your purpose and you're following that purpose, every time you think about, maybe you panic, I should get another job, I should go this way or that way, the universe brings you back to center and says, nope, you're on the right path and this is where you need to be. Like the opportunities, people start calling you, people start, like the minute that doubt creeps in, sometimes the universe tries to steer you back onto the path and go, nope, you're right where you need to be. And I think that's awesome. And that's what you've been that's your experience. That's awesome. That's great. And Deanne, I know that your company has been really hard hit by this. You guys lost like 90% of your business right away with restaurants closing and grocery stores limiting and it being kind of like a serve yourself kind of option at a lot of those places for kombucha. But you also rebranded and kind of went towards a whole different demographic for your Kombucha on Tap products. And you also being you got 2 little babies at home, you've also been able to spend more time at home. So tell me about your experience.
Oh my gosh, 2020. Where do I start? Okay, so our company, we're a distributor. We service a lot of restaurants, like you said, a lot of businesses. Legoland's one of our biggest accounts, hasn't been open since March. So we've been hit hard. We had to lay off half our staff. That sucked. And then, but there's been like some really good silver linings. Like we were able to get the PPP and the EIDL. We were able to like consolidate our team to like our A players who really wanted to work with us. So there's been some like beautiful things that happened. We pivoted like a million times. And as having a startup company, we've been doing it for 6 years now, but like, I feel like we win a gold medal in like knowing how to live below our means and like not take a huge salary. So I feel like I've been prepared for this for like ever. So like it hit us, but it didn't cause us to go like cry in a corner. We were just like, okay, we can do this. Meanwhile, I have 2 little girls. One just turned 3 and one's turning 1.5. So mom life, like March and April nearly broke me. Like being home with them every single day and no activities helped me realize I don't want to do that. Like I love my girls, but like I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. So I did throw myself back into Kombucha on Tap more and working more. But what's always been missing is like my love of journalism and doing videos and doing all like the positive news stories. So I had a podcast, and then life was like so crazy. I kind of put that on pause. And then just recently, like I'm 2 weeks in to a brand new job that I feel like I am back in my flow and I am back on camera. I'm hosting videos and it's live selling. It's like QVC, but like way more fun and trendy. And I always wanted to be on QVC. So talk about manifesting. Like I've wanted to be on since I was like 25. They even like scouted me in my 20s and I didn't get the job. And I was like so bummed. And now I'm doing that for like an awesome company. And I basically get paid to like put on makeup and like wear cute clothes and just like have fun with the most like positive community. And the name of it is Unicorn Tribe, which I feel like is all like unicorn and positive. And I'm like, oh, this is so fun. So I feel like I'm just now starting, like 2020 helped me get a lot of clarity and put some like opportunities in my path that I don't know I would have gotten if it all didn't go down the way it did.
And also, I have to mention this, that you are married to Mr. Positivity. Failure is not an option with Jared.
He's like he's so positive. And you don't know if we can say that like in a bad way, but like he's like the nicest guy you'll ever meet for sure. But yeah, so positive. So he even is like, people have asked him like, oh, what do you feel about Deanne like not doing Kombucha on Tap as much? And he's like, I'm just so happy for her that she like has her smile back more and it's like happier. So that's like the kind of positivity he is.
He just supports your joy and happiness. And all of us are married women who have supportive spouses, which I think is what makes us more successful in our pursuits, is that we have spouses that 100% have our backs, no matter what crazy thing we decide to do next. Belle, tell me about what has it been like for you as a stay-at-home mom, maybe not as impacted business-wise, but how has it impacted your life?
Well, this year, like everybody else is calling it, is interesting, and some of us are saying we you know, we want to do the year over because of some missed opportunities. Um, I am a full-time homeschooling mom, and I love every minute of it. And my kid is cool, but this one was a little hard because we lost the outdoor activities and the enrichment academy, which was his you know, drum classes and clay making this and getting with other kids. And he is on the spectrum, so he struggles with some of these social cues. And he was just starting to do well. Literally, like we were just seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And then the pandemic hit, and then we lost that. We were a little bummed at first, and then we just found things to do. We grew a vegetable garden, and it's been fantastic for him. So learning and fun and all of that. And my plan during this year was to open a coffee shop in Oceanside in the old bunker house, the brick house.
I know where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Michelle's place. It's a good friend of mine's. And I was going to start a coffee shop there, and everything was lined up, and I got my food certification. I was very super excited. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, oh, this is not going to stop me. Everything is going to be fine. We're going to be open by July. But we didn't, because we feel, or I feel, at least I feel, and my husband is, again, very supportive of the decision I made, that we're just going to put it on hold. We're not canceling it. We're just putting it on hold until it makes sense. You know, more people can go out. Businesses are allowed to do it, especially for a small startup. Because listening to Deanne saying, you know, they got hit really hard, that would have been my fear. And I think everybody has that fear. And there's always risk in business. If you're not willing to take the risk, you know, it's probably not a good idea for you. But that was a small negative. But while I didn't open that coffee shop, I've learned so much. It has given me the time to do more digging and find more resources, and even, you know, vendors and where I source my coffee. And I got to learn the science of coffee. It's so fun, by the way.
So you've got to use the year for education, which is better, to even know what your business is going to be based, or like how you want to develop that. And I used to sing at the bunker house. Actually, I've performed a lot of apothecary and at the bunker house and Succulent Cafe back in the days. And as an entertainer, my industry was completely gutted. As you guys know, I went from 30 gigs a month to 0. And I at first had like a little panic attack as everyone was calling, weddings off, funerals are off, celebrations of life are off, everything was off, everything. It was just my calendar went from full to completely empty. A lot of entertainers, we book 3, 4, 5 months out. And suddenly, and I had done these big wedding events back in January, February, filled my calendar with all these weddings and was so excited. And I just released my first album. I was in the top 10 on independent music. And then suddenly everything just came crashing down. And it's my 39th year. And I was like, 39 is going to be my year. I'm going to be the signed recording artist. I had so many big plans to happen before 40. And then this year was like, no, we have other plans. And it freaked me out. And I kind of like, I was really scared, but I'm also married to a really great person who doesn't allow negativity to enter the realm, and was like, everything will be okay. Just trust God, just trust the universe. Everything's going to be fine. Everything will work out. And suddenly she had all these art commissions that were paying our rent and paying our bills, because we're artists. We live check to check, gig to gig. And so everything worked out. And then by the time her commissions had slowed down just a little bit, the PUA kicked in, and I was able to get some pandemic unemployment relief, which was nice, especially because they were retroactive to March. So I was able to get a little check that paid off a couple things. So, I mean, everything has been, I just learned to trust the process, trust everything. Right. And I also learned that I wasn't cut off with the quarantine that were coming up, and trying to find ways to still connect and be relevant and put yourself out there. I found other ways to do that with my quarantine times and other shows that I was doing. And then with everything that was happening in the world, I couldn't help but be a little bit more relevant, which got me into some trouble. But ultimately, I got to meet 2 new friends, 2 wonderful new ladies here. And I would like to find out from you, what have been the highlights? What have been the best things for each of you that have come out of 2020? We'll go the other way around. We'll start with Belle. You tell us first. What's been the best thing?
I worked on my marriage. I think my marriage has never been better. And this break has given us the chance to kind of take a step back and just kind of like polish it, because it was great already. I mean, we've been together for 19 years. It is no joke. But it kind of opened different doors to for us to communicate in a different level. And I'm super grateful for that. But I also, and I hope I'm not limited to one thing, because I got to know my kid in a different way as well, because we stopped the outdoor activities and we stopped all the therapies and all the running around. So we kind of just kind of quiet out the noise, and we just sat and did simple things, and we really just laughed about these small things. And I'm like, this is so great. Like, I don't think I want this to get faster again. I like the slow paced life. It's slow motion life. There's like, you're eating this dessert and you're eating it slowly, and then you get to really taste it instead of wolfing it down. Because I think we were rushing before. We were just run everywhere, and the day goes by. So my highlight is the bond I have built with my family.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And Keasha Lee, what about you?
Okay, it's so funny. Keasha is my first name. Lee is my maiden name, and then Ince is my married name. So, but it's so hilarious because Keasha Lee just flows together. And even when I was Keasha Lee, like people were like, Keasha Lee, Keasha Lee. So
I have to say, I call you Keasha Lee because my niece is Keasha. So I've decided in my head that you're Keasha Lee. So I know which Keasha I'm always addressing.
I met the other Keasha at when I was like place. So no, totally fine.
Different spelling too.
Oh, always. Yeah. My name's definitely different, spelled different. So highlight of the year, right? Okay. Yes. I'm gonna I'll do a quick rundown and then I'll bring it back. Maybe like Isabel did, or Belle. I'm sorry. What's your name?
Belle. It's all the same.
Okay. All right. So this year highlights, new home. We moved from Carlsbad to Vista, from a little condo we were in for 3 years to like March, literally like a week and a couple days before everything happened, pandemic wise. So I was so happy to shelter in place in our new place, to just take our time. Gardening, decorating. I really get turned on and love like home decor and design. That's another thing I like. That's another area of creative self-expression. So we got to do a lot of projects. Acting. So acting is something that I do, that I decided to focus on at the end of last year. And I have definitely, I have 2 agents, and I've gotten lots of auditions, and I've gotten some jobs this year. And I'm so happy about that. Connection with my husband and my daughter. Yes, it really gives you time when everybody's at home to look at your people differently, to look at yourself differently. And I've done a lot of introspection, a lot of growth, a lot of healing this year, which has helped me communicate and to relate to my loved ones and even the new people in my life in a much deeper way. I have experienced so much more depth in relationships this year. And all of them. It's been really a true blessing. Like fantastic clients, new friends, online besties, deep relationships with the people that I know and that I want to, and just really being clear, like what matters and what doesn't. Just like what's a non-option, what's a non-negotiable. I've gotten really clear about that.
It teaches you what's important and what's not. And that was a valuable lesson, because some things that look important might not really be the priority. Like I learned to kind of filter through that, and it has cut me a lot of energy. I think I'm saving my breath now. I'm just so proud of that. I used to overextend myself for things maybe that didn't deserve it.
So I have 2 for you guys. One, I learned that I actually like to cook, thanks to the COVID-19 quarantine. I had no idea, but I have had time to spend time at home and make a lot of meals. And in the past, my husband and I, and obviously our girls being little, we were always ships in the night with eating. He'd get home and it'd be later, and it's dinner, you do your own dinner, I did my own dinner, we fed the girls, or I fed the girls, whatever it was, but we never sat down together. we totally sit down together now, and I actually enjoy cooking. And it's like, whoa, where's this been? I'm turning 39. Like, I can't believe it took me this long to discover that I like to cook. Because I used to eat out a lot, like I would eat out a lot. I would go out a lot. I'd get takeout a lot. I haven't been doing that. I lost 6 pounds as well, and like kept that off, and I eat way healthier. So that's like huge highlight. So woohoo, thank you to that. And then my other one, and this is like probably like being a vulnerable share, but I jumped off our payroll when like March hit to like help save our company. And I went on unemployment, and I made more money on unemployment than I made on our company. So I have doubled my savings account. Like, no joke. It was like at 18. I just know this number because we had to talk with our financial person earlier, but it was at 18,000 last year, and it's at 30,000 right now. And that's all, swear to God, that's all thanks to unemployment money, because they were paying that extra and I was just shoving it all in my savings.
So Deanne, do you find that cooking at home is a great money saver?
I think so, except I Instacart, and I spend a lot on those. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I spend so much money. But I do think it saves so much money. It saves so much money. Like, you can make your meals for, like way less, and you just have better quality food.
That's great. Instacart is such a useful tool to get the groceries. We actually paid there was a base fee that you pay once a year, and then all your deliveries are free after like a certain amount. Like a 20.
Oh yeah, I'm a member of that. It's like $99 a year or something like that. Yeah. So I believe in it, and it also gives people a lot of jobs and gives them flexible jobs. So I'm all about it. I'm willing to pay like $10 more in groceries if it means like it saves me hours of time.
So my highlights this year have been, one, I was stuck at home. We had this rat invasion. But because of the rat invasion, I was able to like get rid of all of my furniture and start fresh and just kind of give my home a whole new makeover and make it more something I wanted, because we haven't really replaced our furniture in over 10 years. And I even like redid this Buddha behind me that was all dark mahogany wood. And I was like, I'm going to paint it gold and add white. So I added all this gold and white and big pops of red. This curtain behind me is actually where I've been doing my streaming concerts from, and my Celestegrams and things like that. Something I had always wanted to do was singing telegrams. I jumped right into that with my Celestegrams. And at first, people were really eager to help people like me and artists. And I know, but everyone starts kind of going, well, we don't know what's going to happen. We need to be a little bit more cautious with our money. But I really loved seeing the community come out and support and seeing who was there for us, like really just watching who was out there really paying attention, and especially to artists to go, these people need our help, and then jumping in to help us. We got so much help from the community. And then also with the attacks that I received through the emails, to watch my community come together and support me through that, which really freaked me out, especially because they were death threats, and they were, saying they knew where they had my address, all these different things. It was really scary, but to see community, just to see people helping each other, I was inspired daily, watching people feed the homeless or do whatever they could and put themselves actually in harm's way just to make sure that people had food, money, and were taken care of. And I was really inspired by that. And I was very happy to be able to recreate my home. And at least the landlord got to do the new floors, and then I had to do the rest. But fortunately, because of Renee doing so well, watching my wife's art just totally take off was such a blessing to me. And I felt so just inspired and awe, because she never one time was like scared or worried. She's just like, oh, everything will work out the way it's supposed to. And her even keeledness is so good for somebody like me who can get a little jumpy at times. And then finding this whole community like Belle and the Quarantine Network and all these opportunities to even have my streaming television show. Like, this show is now on KOCT. It's on Palapa TV. It's on all these streaming sites. But we're very grateful to have our home, to have one another, and to have our kind of multitude of random talents that we can pull together and figure out what to use. I figure we can use our minds, we can use our creativity to kind of think outside the box as to how we're going to stay safe, how we're going to stay home, and how we're going to use that to help one another. And unfortunately, at midnight on New Year's Eve, the world isn't going to change for anybody. It's going to be the same world. It's just going to be a different year by a different name. And so we're going to take a lot of the same issues that we've been having in 2020 into 2021, but often it's a great time for a reset. It's really all about, when it comes to manifesting and when it comes to perspective, it's all about mind over matter. So that's what 2020 or 2021, these things don't really mean anything, but they can kind of give you a mental reset. So as we go into the new year, I'd like to hear how you are kind of seeing the year. What are your resolutions? What are your goals? And what are you trying to manifest? And it doesn't matter what it is, how far out of reach it may seem or how near it might be. What are your goals, ladies, for going into the new year?
Okay. My goals, my vision for 2021. First of all, I have great anticipation for it because someone asked me, and it's really funny because I have a few friends in Canada, and around the time of the election, she was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm fine." She's like, "Oh, I've been watching like every day, like biting my nails." And I'm like, "That's so funny. You don't even live here, but I get it." Yeah. And I told her, I said, "I feel fine. Like, no matter what the outcome is, I know who I am. And I know that that's not going to change what my mission is here to do." And she was like, "Wow, that's really powerful." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." Because, I trust that that's not going to change the course of my life. So, with all that being said, one of my big goals is to continue with this embody your message movement and to have that pick up. Like, I really want to create a movement around my mission of helping others stand out in a noticeable way and really embody who they are. And then my car. One time, you and I chatted about this a little bit on Facebook, Celeste. I'm still manifesting this car. It's going to come. It's my VW Turbo convertible bug, baby blue.
It's on its way.
Here.
They're just putting the big ribbon on it right now.
Right.
How about you, Deanne? What are your thoughts and feelings going into the new year?
Obviously, I want our company to I want things to reboot and everything to go into recovery mode so that our company can grow. I want to just continue the flow in this new job. And then one thing I've really missed is travel. And I used to do travel journalism and get paid to go eat meals in different states and literally these dream jobs. I want to get back to that. So I'm going to manifest some of those. And then just number one is health. Every day I always am okay, keep me and everyone I know and love safe and healthy.
Part of this journey that I had through kind of a nervous breakdown the last couple of years has taught me this thing called surrender that I've never really explored truly. I knew the word, it's a word that you learn, but what that meant to actually surrender was to just let go. When I found out that I could not control anything outside of myself, I think my life, that's when I felt like I was reborn. So I think I'm only 2 years old right now. I had just been reborn, and it's like I knew it deep down, but I just never practiced it. And when I did, I literally just felt light as a feather. I shed so much of the things that had weighed me down, and then I started learning this thing called manifesting. I wasn't even aware that you actually have the power as a human being to make the future the way you want it to be. If you see it, if you feel it, it's energetic. It's magic. That's it. I think the word is you can make things happen, but you really have to believe it in your core and feel worthy of it, first of all. And that's part of that whole self-love journey that I'm still on. And then there's this pressure of people wanting to have New Year resolution. I think you can have a resolution any time of the year, as long as you stick with it. Because a lot of these New Year resolutions are a little pressure, then people do them just because they feel like they have to, and then they never stick with them. Number one is diet and exercise. Nah. By February, it all falls apart with the chocolate covered strawberries, right? And then that's it. For me, I'm manifesting this year with a lot of success for my son. I see him breaking through these challenges that I can see him peeking through the roof. I'm manifesting this land that we actually dreamt about, and we bought it in Morocco, in Marrakesh. that we're going to build. We're going to start construction in 12 months time. And we're working on the money part. So that's going to be the
It's
dream.
going to happen. It's already happening. Yeah.
I see this place, like my dream is to have, I see it. I little see it. I see my little house and my little pool and my place where I get to make the mess and nobody comes and says, mommy, 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 give me, give me, give me. And, you know, all the ones with kids can relate to that. That's going to be the same. I just literally, I'm so positive that some of my friends around me, they go, you just knock it down a bit. You know, you can see the positive in everything. And I said, you know, when you look at it, you know, if somebody hands you a bag of poop, you could say, hey, it's fertilizer.
I love what you said about surrender. And I think that is something that I'm going to be bringing into 2021 with me, because I feel like I don't really have a lot of control as to my industry. So I can't really picture what most artists would envision for themselves formerly. Like, I'm not going to be on a stage full of thousands of people. I wouldn't want thousands of people in front of me in this world the way that it is at present. But I want to find the avenues, and I want to just surrender and know that what is my main purpose and goal in life is to use my talents to inspire others and to help others and to be a positive beacon of light and hope in this world. To be a beacon of equality and bringing people together and manifesting whatever you want and being able to believe in yourself. So whatever those opportunities, whether it's through this show that I'm doing, whether it's through music, I still believe that my biggest talent that I was given is my singing voice. So I'd like to be able to utilize that still. But I have other talents. I'm a pretty smart person and pretty intelligent as far as socially intelligent person. And I have a lot of creative ideas, and maybe there's going to be opportunities for those to come be used. But I do want to open myself to surrendering to the universe and whatever it has in store for me, and to be open-minded about the opportunities that are coming my way as we speak. I've been a plus size girl my entire life. And so every year I'm going to be 40 this year. Every year for 30 years, I've made this New Year's resolution of losing weight. And it's never happened. I mean, I've done some unhealthy things in the past, like I did the HCG diet and I lost a lot of weight, but I felt so weak and unhealthy. I did veganism for a year, but again, I gave myself a bunch of hormonal imbalances and problems and gained 80 pounds as a vegan. Ended up being a backfiring kind of diet lifestyle for me, for my body, what it needs. But really tuning into my body, I'm thinking about taking up your advice about doing the blood testing to find out what my food sensitivities might be, finding out. Keasha went to a holistic practitioner and got some blood work done and found out some of the nutritional balances that she needs, things like that, to find out specifically targeted things about what my body needs. But I do know the one thing that's been always kind of lacking in my life that I need is exercise. I'm not a very physically active person. I'm a very active person on stage and everything like that. But on a day-to-day basis, I don't have a lot of physical activity in my life. And that's something I need to really find something that I enjoy, that I like doing. I feel weird about walking because nobody's walking around with a mask around here. So I haven't been walking like I was in the past. Me and Deanne used to walk all the time. But I do know, if anything, I can never use time as an excuse for not losing weight, because I've had all the time in the world this year and I still haven't lost it. So that'll never be an excuse again. Like, I don't have time to lose weight. No, girl, 2020 proved that was not a legitimate excuse. So I don't know, as far as my health, just want to keep focusing on my health, finding the best things for me, figuring myself out, and just kind of being open to the universe and what it has opportunistically for me in my career. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to do this show and to get some different platforms for it to be on. But of course, you know this more than anyone, Deanne, it's a passion project. It costs more money than it'll probably ever make. And who knows? You never know. Certain things can come out of it.
I wouldn't say that. Right. You never know.
You're right. You don't know. So I don't know what doors and opportunities this will open, but I do know that it has opened an opportunity for us to have a conversation and to bring people like you into my lives. And I know that with your mastering your message stuff that you do, Keasha, and with Deanne, with all of your experience as a journalist, and Belle, with all of your experience in the world and doing the different things that you've done, I know that having a community of women, a community of people that I can connect with in this way is going to be the most important thing I think that can come out of it, it's relationships. The relationships that we build are the most important. So now it's time to kind of assess, not to necessarily let go of those other relationships, but put the focus on the relationships that build you and inspire you and create those opportunities you can build, and the inspiration you can find with each other. So thank you so much for joining me on this. And I wish you all a very happy new year. And does anybody have any kind of closing thoughts or anything you want to leave with our viewers about 2021 or anything in particular?
2020 happened for a reason, as you said, as our energies kind of got together and turned into a ball of chaos, basically. In every thing that happened, there is a lesson. And I find that the most courageous people are people who still find in them to be kind and empathic. So have empathy and be kind to people, even when it's hard, especially for those who are not kind, because they do need it the most.
That's a beautiful message. Absolutely. I completely agree. And there's a lot of things that happened in 2020 that have always been happening, but a highlight was kind of put on them because we had nowhere else to look. We had our blinders on. And so we were able to see some of the things that need repair, especially socially in our world. And I hope that we can continue to give the attention where it needs to go when it comes to equality, when it comes to women's rights, when it comes to the striving for civil rights in this country. And we just realized that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And we can't forget that in the process of working on ourselves. We work to help everyone. Anyone else?
Right. I think that's a great thing. I want to add on to that, yeah, social justice, humanity, the things that are life-giving, the things like the relationships, which is a big one for me. 2020 was a call out year. It was a year of exposure. It called bullshit on our own shit and others. It was a year of revelation, a lot of revelation. And for those who we're all on different paths and at different levels of awakened consciousness, and so you could see that opening up. And what I'll say is that we don't know ever. That was a big illusion. That was just the veil came down. We don't know. We do, but we don't. Yes, we can use manifestation to help to bring about the outcomes that we want, but we don't know what the future holds, right? And there's always free will. And life is short. Life is very precious. And that's the big thing that I just want to highlight, is that if anything, 2020, has shown you, which I know it's shown you a lot, is that we must savor and cherish our moments. When you can master your moments, you master your life.
That's true.
I love that. That's a great catchphrase. And Deanne, did you have any parting messages?
I'll add in. I would just add in and just say that, like, any day you wake up and you take a breath, like, you're alive, and that's amazing. And don't wait for 2021 to be like, I'm going to start living when we all have a vaccine, or when today's the day. And literally, if you wake up, it's your day. Like, just go get it, and don't wait for things to get better. This is better, and be better and do better. And like everyone else said, I love what you guys all said. Just be kind, good human beings. It's actually what my shirt says: raise kind humans. I didn't even do that intentionally, but when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, I think I am wearing that shirt underneath this super thick, cozy jacket.
It's such a small and free ingredient that could help. It kind of trickles. It has a trickle down effect. You stop and let somebody cross. The next time they're going to stop for someone to cross, and so on and so forth.
So I think we just need a little more joy and happiness, and spreading that. And we're not giving each other hugs as much, so we need other ways that we can show that we care about each other.
True.
It's important that we speak for one another, speak for compassion, speak for love, speak for justice. And I think all of you have done that. And it's alienated us from maybe some people at times. And but it's alienated us maybe from the people that we just didn't need to have, that were kind of taking up space. And so hopefully, and hopefully they've lost that they miss our presence in their lives, and they'll eventually reflect on that and go, well, maybe it was the message I wasn't ready to hear that message at that time. So I am inspired by all of you. Thank you so much. I look forward to our relationships growing in the new year, and thank you so much for being part of my show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Celeste.
Yes.
Good night, ladies.
Good night. Thank you.